This podcast is brought to you by the School of Advanced Study, University of London.
So now, Marcos Queiroz is a PhD candidate in legal studies at the University of Brasilia Law School, and he's a staff member of Mare. And he's going to talk on behalf of his work with Evandro Duarte Pisa, who can't be with us today because he's ill. Evandro is a professor of criminal sciences at the University of Brasilia Law School and coordinator of Mare, Centre for Studies of Legal Culture of the Black Atlantic. Evandro has published many books on racial discrimination and law, and is a technical staff member of the National Commission on Truth and Memory of Black Slavery in Brazil. So the title of the joint paper, which Marcos is going to give, is Just for English Eyes, Tensions of Portuguese Empire in the Black Atlantic. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much, Marcos. You okay?
Yes. So, hello everyone, and I would like to say I'm very nervous. My hands are shaking, and speak loudly. And I would like to apologize for my English. I'm studying English right now in Brazil too, and it's a process. And when me and Evandro sent the paper, we didn't know that we would have to speak in a public discussion like this, but so we are here, where I am here, and I'd like to explain the absence of Professor Evandro. 2 weeks ago he was infected by Zika in Brazil in a vacation. Yes, he's at his town and he's infected. So he asked me to apologize for the absence and to express his desire to meet everyone on the other occasions. And so the name of our paper is Just for English Eyes, Citizenship in the Brazilian Constituent Assembly of 1823 and the Tensions of Portuguese Empire in the Black Atlantic. This paper is a product of research still being conducted by Mare, Center of Studies in Law, Culture and Black Atlantic. It's an effort to consider how the fear of black revolt was a regulated device in the birth of the nation at the post-independence, especially in the 1823 Constituent Assembly. So, if you don't mind, I will read a short version of the paper, because to speak English is very difficult to me. Okay. An effort to demystify hegemonic narratives about the national identity and past has been getting increasingly consolidated in Brazil. These hegemonic narratives reinforce views that did not acknowledge the historical and political ages of black people. In addition to that, they corroborate with the view of Brazilian peculiarity, in which Brazil would be a product of specific racial relations, thought to be immediately blended and sweetened by the sensitivity of the Luso-tropical big house, reinforcing a Brazilian species that would ward Brazil off from dynamics that are common to the whole West colonialists and its respective African diaspora. Part of this effort may be understood as a periodization and displacement of a history confined to the limits of the national state, acknowledging that the constitution of what we understand as Brazil today is adapted to flows and dynamics transcend the current national borders. With respect to racial relations, this double movement begins to constitute a change in point of view, in which the reality of the Brazilian black people stopped being explained by exclusively national characters to become understood from an integrated circuit of discourse, practice, resistance, and violence in the Atlantic world. In addition, the Atlantic allows us to see colonialism as learning network of subaltern groups and colonial elites, where ancient experiences are acquired as knowledge acquisition both for resistance and domination strategy. It is this arena that the fear of a black wave achieves thematic relevance, because it was through this feeling that the white society not only has articulated perceptions of old processes concerning black population, but also, by projecting the future, has developed practice and discourse constituting excluding social structures. In this context, the Haitian Revolution is understood as a possible hermeneutical and methodological perspective to understand the phenomenon of the black diaspora in the Americas at the end of the 18th century. Its capacity of interpretative speed happens from two fundamental aspects. First, when the slaves took power at San Domingo Island and formed the first independent black nation state, is an event that questions and still does question the borders and possibilities of what is understood as modernity. A second aspect that the Haitian Revolution provides is precisely to allow a reinterpretation of the traditional historiographical myth. Thus, it comes to light not only the impact of the revolution in San Domingo on the Atlantic world, but also the influence and interconnection provided the constellation of black resistance in the formation of the ideas of freedom, equality, citizenship, and nationality. Taking the fight and resistance in the African diaspora out of the shadows, the arena to understand concepts specific to modern nation states is expanding, inserting them as regulation devices of inclusions and exclusions between colonialist disputes. Digging into the circulation of discourse and representation about the Haitian Revolution in Brazil is a task that Brazilian historiography has begun to conduct, even though belatedly. According to several sources, it is possible to notice that direct influence of the uprising in San Domingo not only in Brazilian slaves, but also in the colonial elite. In 1805, a year after Haiti's declaration of independence, black people from Rio de Janeiro militia were seen using brooms with Dessalines' portrait. In the year of 1808, Bishop Azeredo Coutinho attacks the new philosopher who defended reckless republicanism, responsible not only for the French Revolution, but also for the carnage at San Domingo Island. In 1814, in Itapuã, in the province of Bahia, they were responsible for an uprising commented openly about IT events. In the year of 1817, the shadow of the Black Wave hovered over the events of the Pernambucan revolt. The captain José Maria Monteiro used it to say, San Domingo Island's example is so horrendous and still so recent that it will be enough to frighten landowners of this country. The English Commodore commented on the Haitian spectrum, which could result on the expulsion of all white people from this continent and on the establishment of a second San Domingo in Brazilian territory. In this period, the most notable text on this topic is a secret document written by a French agent and sent to Don John VI between 1823 and 1824, where it says that beyond the two official parties, liberal and conservative, there is a third one, the one of the black people. Thus it concludes, all Brazilians, and above all the white people, do not sufficiently realize that it is time to close the door to political debates, to constitutional discussions, freedom, or Randall's word that has so much more strength in a country of slaves than anywhere else. It was necessary to avoid that the Empire of Brazil became a replica of the brilliant colony of San Domingo. In this sense, with the wide circulation of ideas and using the constant migration of people, the impact of and influence of San Domingo Revolution in Brazil, of other black uprising of the revolutionary principle, seem to be deeper and more comprehensive than they might seem at first sight. From the lands of Macapá to the beach of Grão-Pará, in the conflicts at the so-called War of Bahia Independence, at Guanabara Recôncavo, and at several locations, the spectrum of the Black Wave, having the Haitian Revolution as ultimate symbol, permeated the imaginary of farmers, politics, slaves, quilombolas, margos, and other agents of Brazil. Whereas a fear or warning, a subject to be attacked or avoided, as fact to be denied or hidden, or as hope for another future, Santo Black Revolution acted as a transatlantic mediator of identities and social structures in the Brazilian transition towards independence. So now, in this context of ideas, we intend to challenge the means and the role attributed to the Constituent Assembly of 1823. Such task will be done by understanding the 1823 Assembly as an event integration to the modern colonial Atlantic history, where the ideas of citizenship, freedom, equality, and nationality are produced in constant tension with transnational phenomena. Politically delicate and contradictory fiction, the Assembly of 1823 had to serve as a transition tool towards an independent Brazil, strongly guaranteeing rights compatible to the formation of a new nation state. At the same time, it could not advance too much over liberal and equalitarian measures, due to the risk of potentializing passion on the people's heart. Hence, there was a revolutionary shadow hovering over the parliamentarians, which was constantly evoked by fear in the congressman's speech. Making reference to São Domingo, Deputy José da Cruz Gouveia reinforced the central role of the Assembly, a thermometer of a smooth transition, capable of building the empire without the agitations of the democratic principle of freedom and equality. Thus, it is possible to note a type of regulation principle of this conservative transition, capable of enabling the independence without any clash with the established slave-based social order. This principle is the constitutional monarchy, or the empire, which emerged and served as reference to render contingent the discussion about rights, freedoms, and equality in the Constituent Assembly. Under the name Cause of Brazil, the monarchical principle is used as contrast the ideas of freedom, equality, republic, democracy, and revolution. The constitutional monarchy aims at unifying territories, guaranteeing rights of the economical political elites, and ward off any spark of democratic claims. In the Assembly, it's evident the ruling class learning process by other experience, such as French, Spanish, American, and São Domingo, which are mentioned to illustrate which path the cause of Brazil should not follow. In this sense, the discussion about citizenship is a great example of how the markers of race, articulated by the Atlantic flow, operating the definition of what is known to be Brazilian nation, citizen, eligible man, active citizenship, passive citizenship, and foreign, and etc. It's precisely from the position of transatlantic colonial elite that events in São Domingo are brought up or avoided in the discussion about citizenship and political rights. Deputy José da Silva Lisboa remembers that the French colony perished due to the fury of Robespierre and of his anarchical friends, who cried in the National Assembly the famous perish the colonies rather than sacrifice one iota of our principle. To avoid further passions and violence, the freedom of black men and women could only be gradually considered. But it is the speech of João Severiano Marcel da Costa that the fear of Haiti is showing in its full power. São Domingo events through his stance with respect to political rights, remember that the Assembly generosity would incite unreasonable passions in the people. In a country where the black people were a majority, just unconscious of their strength, weighing the borders of freedom and equality was to put at stake social order itself. Maintaining the colonial slave-based structure was more important than any universalism of human rights. Even though the stance of some deputies point towards the gradual reform of the slavery system, what is seen is the defense of gradual change, precisely as to avoid any sort of uprising that ruptures with the hierarchies resulted from the slavery regime. Citizenship for black men and women is seen as nothing but a way to get obedience from them, and not as an imperative in the universal sense of human rights. Moreover, in the definition of which type of foreign is useful to improve the civilization and national wealth. The imperatives of whitening were already made present, foretelling the racist structures that the immigration project of the second half of the 19th century would then be based on, as well as the constitution of the free work market in Brazil. In this sense, São Domingo's spectrum covered over the Constituent Assembly of 1823, in a way to give voice to that well-domestic fear of the movement of the black for freedom and equality. In the Assembly, the spectrum outlines structural impacts of a nation that need to deal with the universal potential of the discourse on rights under the slave-based structure. It also managed the strategy of the white elites to constitute a great unitary and wealthy nation, but from which only the national elite could benefit. Thus, as an important process of Brazil's transition towards independence, the Constituent Assembly of 1823 outlined the social pact the ruling elite put in movement during the 19th century. A political articulation not only to avoid the revolt of popular class, but also to administrate and share national wealth, not only to maintain the domain position, but to strengthen them. Following other colonial experience, these elites knew the importance of constituting a non-contradictory unitary class, capable of maintaining the order and diffusing a civilization through the action of the state and the monarchical power. The maintenance of the relation between masters and slaves was sought, while the formation of a people was being diffused. In the last instance, Brazilian civilization was born to guarantee an independence of the slave-like order. The strategy of perpetuation of the political power would be perfected, regulated also by the fear of black uprising. The low conflict of hegemony between the ruling elites was and still is counterbalanced by the resistance of the black diaspora in the attempts to expand the freedom and equality borders. In their fierce strategy and path, the Constituent Assembly of 1823 left important clues to understand the formation of the Brazilian Empire. It resounds echoes from a past that is still present when huge inequality not only are maintained, but also when the simple demand for rights is seen as a break of the social pact. So that's the end. And one more time, sorry for my English pronunciation. And I hope that it didn't hinder the understanding of ideas. And thank you so much.
Thank you.